Hello, everybody. Welcome to day one of the Invoking the Expert challenge. Before everybody starts to hop on, because I am fairly punctual, I just want to give you guys a quick warning. I'm trying to double stream right now so I can get the people who have deleted Facebook because it's triggering on IGTV so everyone can grab this content, because I truly believe that I want all this to be accessible and free. So if my eyes are darting back and forth and that's confusing, trust me, it's confusing for me too. So I've had quite a bit of coffee today, so if I'm a little jittery or talking way too quickly, please just tell me to backtrack, slow down. I will be doing a Q&A at the end, but if you're watching on Facebook, do me a favor and say hi so I can say hi back. I'm gonna put my notes in this section just so I don't get too distracted, but yeah, just give me a shout, say hello. And while I see we have a few people on right now, while we're onboarding everyone, while we're getting people here, I just wanted to do a quick intro as to who I am. So if you just started following me, if you've just joined the coven, you have a little bit of background as to who I am and why I can even tell you guys how to invoke the expert at all. So my name is Shawn Engel. I am the founder of Witchy Wisdoms, which is my online presence, my social media presence, which serves as a business, witchcraft, and sexual health and wellness advocacy platform. It is all-encompassing, and generally what I do now is teach witches that want to have apothecaries, journalistic integrity or presence, any kind of spiritual business. I teach them how to brand and market. And it's really rewarding work. So basically the way that this has started is about 3 years ago, I pulled myself up from my bootstraps in terms of a really toxic decade, I'll say. And in terms of about a 4-year drug addiction, eating disorders, a sexual assault, a horribly toxic relationship, and then finally pulling myself out of the weeds, I started to use my tarot cards in conjunction with therapy, and it was so therapeutic for me that I decided to create a blog. Now this blog became successful, and then I parlayed it into an Instagram, which then became successful as well, which then became a life coaching business, which became successful, and now I teach people how to create their businesses on their own because of my experience and because of my schooling. I have a very savvy business acumen, and I like to help other women, femme-identifying human beings. I want to uplift them and help them run their own businesses as successfully as I have found. So in terms of talking about expertise, not only does my story lend to that, but currently I have had a Cosmopolitan feature. I have a book deal through Cosmopolitan. I have been asked to be on an MTV show for New York Witches, and I have hundreds of client wins. And that's why I want to teach you guys how to invoke the expert and how to use this in your own training. All right, so let me see who's on here. Hello, Jasmine, Erin, Ingrid. Hello, everyone. Awesome. All right. If you guys have never had a training with me before or a challenge with me before, I run through these things really quick. So take notes. I don't like to give bullshit. So take notes. We will revisit if you have any very, intense questions at the end. I'm here to help you. I'm here to give you some one-on-one guidance. So, but just save it to the end because I get very distracted with comments. So the first thing that I want to dive into is what actually is an expert, because that can be kind of a gray area for a lot of people. Now, the definition is that it's a person who has a comprehensive and authoritative knowledge or skill in a particular area. So for my brand, it's spell work, ritual magic, the tarot, and of course, marketing and branding, which is all within the sphere of my business witch brand. But you can be an expert on your life. I just told you my story. These are things that I grabbed from a lot in terms of storytelling to allow my audience and allow my community to get to know me better. So you can use your life as a field of expertise, if that makes sense. So it uses your leverage of experience in order for people to understand that you get them on a cellular level, right? Because not only have you lived it, but you've gotten through it and you've healed. or if you haven't, you still have the experience. You have gifts and interests, and this is your chance to do a deep dive in research. So for me, astrology was just a very far off concept that I never really understood. And now I'm a fairly novice astrologer. I can say that I can read a chart pretty well, but this is something that I'm still diving into and still learning a lot. Chaos magic as well definitely piques my interest. So this is something that I'm learning more about. So your gifts they're leading you, and your interests are leading you into a way of expertise, but you definitely have to put the work in, right? Okay, so how do you become an expert in a saturated market? Okay, this one is a big one because I get this all the time. This is like my biggest qualm with people. They're always like, oh, I don't know, the witchcraft community on Instagram is so saturated. Everyone's a witch, everyone's doing this, everyone's doing that. However, you have your own unique voice that people might like, your own personal style and your own personal flair, which is where your personal branding comes in. But also, like witchcraft, there are so many gifts encompassed within this entire community. So, you know, using your knowledge and personality to set yourself apart, you can dive into things and make them very specific. So, you know, again, there's the astro community, herbology, kitchen witchery, chaos magicians, high magic, eclectic witchery, Catholic. I could go on and on and on and on and on. There's always these different subsets that you can use and level up in terms of your expertise. So even like while herbology might look very saturated, you could be the astro herbologist or the baking or vegan kitchen witch. You can go down the rabbit hole literally as far as your little heart desires. And that is what's going to set you off as an authoritative voice, as a leader, and as an expert, because you have niche, right? Okay, so I want you then to think about the core entities of your brand. So sure, there are many tarot readers, but what's your gift? What's your aesthetic? Where are you knowledgeable? What's your ritual for reading? So maybe you use a particular deck and you channel, right? I channel. Or maybe you're high intuitive, or maybe you are extensively knowledgeable about Jungian tarot voices. Like, I mean, there's so many ways for you to pick apart your gifts, find out where your expertise lies, and then step into that role, and which is what we are going to be learning in the days to come. But in terms of finding out what your expertise is or what you want it to be, we're going to be doing that in this assignment. So that's all I got for you on this video, but your first assignment here is to write 3 lists. You're gonna write one on what you have lots of knowledge about, and that can be personal, it can be witchy, it can be literally anything. What you have lots of knowledge about, just spill it on paper. Number 2, things you want to have lots of knowledge about, all right? And then number 3 is things your brand suggests that you have lots of knowledge about, right? If you're a witchcraft brand and you haven't really set yourself apart yet, then witchcraft is definitely going to be something that people expect you to know a lot about. So where can you start picking apart, researching, and diving into that expert role, okay? So I hope that makes sense for you. I'm gonna end this with a Q&A really quick, so let me take my notes down. If any of you have questions, please feel free to ask them now. If you don't, because I know there's only a few of you on, I kind of powered through that quickly, then we can save it. You can put them in the comments and I will come back and answer them as quickly and swiftly as possible. Otherwise, I'll give you guys a couple minutes, and if you're watching the IGTV, if you could just do the same. I'm going to turn off IGTV now. Drop me some comments if you have questions about the assignment, and I'll get back to you.